Hello, in this video we're going to be going over Lab 4, Crustal Plate Compression. Okay, in this lab we're going to take a look at the lithosphere, specifically understanding of the major alpine chains that are found throughout this planet. Okay, we're going to get a more precise understanding and locating and understanding the current state of scientific research concerning these alpine chains. Okay? Alpine chains are extreme biomes. They are dangerous. You can easily perish from any one of the many dangers found in these biomes. There's rock slides, there's avalanches. If you're lucky enough to run into a Bigfoot, you go high enough up in altitude, you may run into a lack of oxygen. Temperatures are extremely low at those high altitudes. And every once in a while a tree falls in the forest. If you don't hear it coming, it could crush you to death. But the alpine chains also have and serve as beneficial to humanity for a number of reasons. There's a lot of minerals that are tied up in this rocky crust. There's a lot of sporting activities that occur in these alpine regions, like snowboarding, and it provides a lower temperature throughout the summertime, so it's a good place to visit when it gets too hot in areas near the sea or the ocean. Okay? Also, the mountain ranges can, as the water moves down slope through the mountain ranges, they often form waterfalls which can be tapped, or dams can be built to tap into the natural force of gravity moving water downward, turning turbines and generating hydroelectric power. Okay? So this is your chance in this lab to go out there and educate me and yourself in one of these alpine chains. If you have any problems, please feel free to email me, hop on Discord, ask some questions, or post on the Canvas system. Okay, so now if you'll see here in the lab, there's a graphic there that came directly from the book. I want you to pick one of these alpine ranges and put it down there in number 2. Okay, now then I want you to go back to, as we did in the last lab, check out scholar.google.com and put in your arc name. For this example, I'm going to pick the Kuril arc. Okay, if you'll notice, it's right here, right between Japan and Russia on the northeast quadrant of this map. Okay? The results are about 10,000 results. Now the lab instructs you to find 3 articles that are related to physical geography. And then for each of those 3 articles, I want to see 2 things. The first thing is going to be the title and the authors. Okay? So for example, as I'm scrolling down and looking at all of these scientific articles and journals and publication, there's one here that deals with megathrust earthquakes. And if you watched that video on the Ring of Fire, they talked about megathrust earthquakes, the one that hit Alaska. Okay? So if you click on it, it will pull up a page with the title and the author and the abstract. So for this assignment, highlight the title and author and right click and copy it, and then go into your document and right click and paste as plain text. That'll satisfy the first part, part C1. Then I want you to read the article's abstract and in your own words summarize it in about 5 or more sentences. So this one looks at P and S waves, which should be familiar to you guys. They talked about that in the book in my lecture slides. It's not named after the esteemed scientists Paulson and Sherman, although it does make sense. No, primary and secondary waves. They look at anomalies in megathrust zones under a region, and they conclude that there is an obvious boundary between the northeast Japanese arc and the Kuril arc. If you refer back, those were 2 separate arcs you could do research on. I would like you to do this for 3 articles. Now going back to the lab, the next part, part 4. I want you to determine what geopolitical boundary that your chain, your arc, your alpine chain feature rests within, or is located within, or is closest to. Now, This doesn't mean to switch to the Alps. I mean Alpine chain as the one you previously did research on. Now, there's a lot of confusion here where students see Alpine chain and then switch to the Alps. The Alps are a name of an Alpine chain. Okay? Please don't make that mistake. One easy way to find out about where this arc is to search it in Google Images. Type in Creel Arc like I did here and click the Images tab, and it will pull up multiple imagery and maps of exactly where the arc is located. Another way to do it is just to go to Google Maps and type in Creel Arc, and it will zoom to the area where your Alpine chain is. And you can do some more research to find out what countries it's between. This arc exists between Japan here and to the north, Russia. Now, there's not a lot going on here in this arc. However, it is between two powerful countries, and so there's probably a lot of information about what people are doing around or within the arc. Another way to get some information is go to the PAC library. If you go to this website, this is our library, Palo Alto College Library. If you'll scroll down under Find More Materials on the left side there is a search-specific database page. There's a lot of information here at your fingertips. If you'll scroll down in the middle of the page, there's a Geography and Travel section. And there's an A to Z Maps and an A to Z World Culture. Now, they're not working for my browser right here, but it should work for you. Dealing with some security issues here, but I highly encourage you to check that out and look up some information about the country or the region where your arc is located in specifically. Okay? Once you find out where it is, I want you to give a physical geography description of the landscape that is within the arc itself, or the Alpine chain, and that surrounds the Alpine chain. Okay? Include information about all four spheres. So if I'm looking at my Creel arc, I'm going to talk about the hydrosphere, the ocean that's around it, maybe some of the drainage patterns that are occurring from these peaks. Okay? For the lithosphere, I'll be talking about the actual volcanic activity that's in the area. Okay? If I want to talk about the biology or the biosphere, I can do a quick Google search about Creel Arc biology, and check this out. It returns articles like biodiversity and biogeography of the islands of the Creel Arc. So there's scientific journal articles. You can go to Google Scholar, back to Google Scholar, I should say, and let's see, where's it at? Closed it. There we go. Okay, there's about 2,500 articles that focus on the Creel Arc and something to do with biology, right? There's that interactions between killer whales. There is a plethora of articles out there that talk about alpine chains and all four spheres. So I want 20 sentences there. And then finally, last but not least, I want you to tie in human geography to physical geography. Do you think that alpine chain influences what's going on in the area related to human activity? Why or why not? If we take a look at the location, there's not a lot going on within the arcs themselves, but maybe they do a lot of fishing around those arcs, right? Maybe it provides a buffer for the Sea of Caustic, and they do a lot of fishing there. Maybe do a little bit of search. If you drink beer, this island in Japan and this city should be familiar to you, Sapporo. Right? What's going on in this island, and do the arcs influence them at all? Is there any tourism? Do they boat people out to the volcanoes and do volcano watching or killer whale watching? I don't know. Do some research. Do some Google searches, some Google Scholar searches, and come up with some answers to this question that deals with humanity within and around your alpine chain. And that's it.